Just very quickly, my name is Gavin McCormack, as you know, and I'd just like to introduce you to my dear friend Shyster here from the United Nations, UNAA New South Wales branch, who we have we're very proud to be associated with this wonderful organization. And just to let you know that during this presentation today, we're going to be hearing from Shyster at the UNAA New South Wales branch, and then we'll go over to myself and we just talk through what's going to be happening over the next 6 to 12 months between our two organizations. So, Shyster, I will hand over to you. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Gavin. Good afternoon, everyone from Sydney. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm entirely not sure what time zones are you from, but wherever you are, good afternoon, evening, morning to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us today for this live event of the United Nations Association of Australia, New South Wales Division, and Upschool. So we have both joined hands to bring to you a very fantastic course, and I'll be telling you more about it. In fact, Gavin will, in fact, be sharing the course details. But to start with, let's first start with the acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the Darug and Tarawal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet today. We also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all work today and pay our respects to the elders past and present, and extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. So why are we here today? So I hope the invitation was appealing enough for you to join. And what we are going to do today is basically get to know each other. So as way of introductions, I'll tell you a little bit more about myself, and I'll ask Gavin to, talk to you as well, give a brief introduction about who we are, our organizations, and then tell you about the United Nations Association New South Wales school program. So we have launched a school program in New South Wales, which is one of the states, the biggest states almost in Australia, called the Peace People Planet. It is very much aligned to the United Nations mission and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And then I'll hand over to Upschool, to Gavin McCormack, the amazing educator, to tell you more about the Be the Change program, which will be launched very soon in July, that you can all sort of, enroll for. And we'll be happy to take any questions regarding the resources that we have for you. So about the presenters, this is me, Shyster. I am presently working with the United Nations Association, which is a representative body of the United Nations, sort of the main, which, as you all know, the headquarters are in Geneva and in New York. But there are United Nations associations all around the world, and we are the big representative body here in Australia for the New South Wales. My background is in education and more as a marketing communications person. International development. I'm originally from Pakistan, and I've traveled and lived in different parts of the world, Middle East, UK, now in Australia, and I proudly call myself a global citizen. I'm a strong advocate of the SDGs, and I believe in empowering every child with quality education. Gavin, would you like to say a few words about yourself?
Thank you so much. Firstly, we're very proud to be associated with you, just to make sure that everyone is aware of that. Secondly, and we love your work. Secondly, my name is Gavin McCormack. I'm the co-founder of Upschool.co alongside my colleagues, esteemed colleagues, Jake Davies, Richard Mills, Anusha Shrestha, and several other people. Shesh Pudel, and we have a lovely team who work together on this one. Our ultimate goal and aim is ultimately to empower students to have the feeling, the understanding, and the experience that even though they may see that problems seem so big and so far away, we want to empower them to be able to make a difference in the world and actually have an impact and make a change in the way the world works, because as we believe at Upschool, the future belongs to the students and hope lies behind the classroom door of every single class in the world. So over the next foreseeable future, we will work towards those wonderful goals, and we'll work alongside the UNAA, obviously, and all of these wonderful teachers who are here today.
Thank you, Gavin. And so just a bit of a background about what the United Nations Association is about. Our purpose is to inform, inspire, and engage Australians to create a safer, fairer, more sustainable world. And our strategic focus is displayed in via four main pillars: peace and security, sustainable development, global citizenship, human rights. And education, of course, is a key thread that runs across all these different pillars. And how we engage with Australians is, we conduct several events, information sessions. We have programs on global citizenship. We have youth programs, and last year we also launched this education school program, which we are going to tell you more about today. So the United Nations Day 2022 school program, this program was actually launched last year in New South Wales. And I know there's been a lot of interest even from international schools, and we're happy to see that. And thank you so much for joining us and showing that interest. We're happy to share our resources with you. So just to tell you what the idea is, basically what we find is that many schools are, all schools, in fact, are doing a great job in teaching and learning, and teachers have, a great responsibility on themselves. However, there's more that needs to be done, especially in Australia in the early years, so that teachers and students know more about the work of the United Nations and understand what the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are. What is the Agenda 2030? So with that view in mind, and to ensure that the curriculum is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals, which many of you would perhaps already know, are a great blueprint for future for sustainable development. So that is our goal, but we invite schools to celebrate the United Nations Day with us. No matter where you are, you can celebrate it on the 24th of October, and it can be done in different ways. So this activity itself is, of course, it meets goal 4, target 4.7 of the, the 17 targets. And to help teachers and educators around the world, let me just clarify here, when we say teachers, education, and educators, it's not just in the formal school setting, but also informal schools, community schools, language schools, youth clubs, student clubs. It could be, these activities can be picked up by anyone. So we also, you'll see these two, sort of images here of some resources that we have developed. So once you enroll with us and sign up, we send you a welcome pack with these resources. So these are different ways that you can get involved with the UNAA school program. Here's a QR code for the United Nations Day School program. If you haven't already registered on the link that was provided on the invitation, you can also scan this QR code, and it takes you straight to the registration page. So we get your details and we can send you the packs. Now, this year we are very proud to be associated with Upschool, an amazing team of very dedicated and very passionate educators, I would say. I wasn't very aware of their work before, but some of my colleagues I know have been following Gavin for quite a few years and are very much aware of his, of the books that he's authored in the different programs. But the best thing that I like about Upschool, and even in the short time that we've known about each other, is that their passion for quality education and making it accessible to everyone, which is very much aligned to, SDG 4, providing quality education to each and every child. So we are very happy to partner with them and to endorse their program, Be the Change, which Upschool has, aligned very much with the curriculum and also integrated the SDGs in it. So it's a great, I would say, crash course, or just a good initiation for those who would like to see how they can integrate the SDGs in their curriculum. So just from the program itself, I would like to share. Is that okay? I'll be sharing once you sign up, what happens is that you will be getting these booklets, which are the resource packs. One of this is the school's SDG campaigns booklet. This is what we have developed for schools to, pick a campaign that they like. What we are sort of advocating or advising schools is that talk to the students about what the United Nations is doing. What are they? What are the goals? And then maybe discuss as to what is it that really relates to them, what speaks to them. It could be zero hunger, it could be clean water, and then try to integrate that in your curriculum, no matter if it's primary to secondary, whatever levels. So this is our team at one of the events. And with the campaigns, this idea has actually been taken from the United Nations Act Now campaign. And what we encourage you as educators to do is to first of all choose the cause or the SDG, make a pledge, plan, proceed, and then publish. So there are these guidance notes. I'm just quickly running through them so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Once you decide on what goal you want to do, you can take a pledge, involve the school head, other organizations, and all. And for example, there's this campaign about tackle e-waste. As you all know, that e-waste has quickly become so much abundant in our homes. We can't live without all the technology. So, from phones to laptops and other devices. But what happens to them when we are no longer using them? Are they just dumped in landfill? So to educate students and parents about reducing e-waste and recycling electronic items. Now, what we have done is with each campaign, we have shown which SDG it relates to, what grades you can use it for. So this one, say 4 to 8, it's really up to you how you adapt it. And then you can have a whole school campaign. We have got our partners, Edufy, who will be collecting any spare phones that you have. If you collect, and this is all, of course, locally. The organizations that are listed here, they're all local NSW organizations. But of course, those of you who are international schools can also reach out through the internet. Has made us all very connected. And in the same pack, you will also find Upschool's own author a book campaign. So where is it? Yeah, campaign 9, write a book to change the world. So from here, I think, Kevin, it would be great if you could perhaps talk through it. And from here, I'll just let you take the lead and start your presentation. That's okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Shasta. That's really wonderful. And I'll say that, before I start to talk and kind of present my presentation, what I would say is I think that the work that UNAA New South Wales does in terms of the school program is wonderful, having those amazing campaigns. When I first was exposed to that, I was like, I want to be part of this. It's such an amazing initiative because it's very much in line with everything that we believe in. And I personally believe as a teacher that education should be about empowerment, agency, autonomy, and independence. And I think you've done a wonderful job of putting that together. So we feel extremely honored to be part of your campaign and have our own special campaign. So thank you, Shaista, for all of that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess what I'd like to do at this point is share with everybody and move on to the Be the Change program that Shaista spoke about so kindly, which I feel humbled about. So thank you so much for doing that, Shaista, and mentioning it so much. What I'd like to do is just go through a presentation with you. Just give me a thumbs. Can you? Is that the right way around? Can you read that? Okay.
I can. Yes. Is it spotlighted?
I'm not sure if I'm spotlighted. Am I spotlighted? Doesn't seem to be.
No, because I'm still the presenter, it seems. Jake?
Yes, if you could stop presenting, that'd be great, Shaista.
Oh, I need to do that. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Is that the right way around?
Yes, it is.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so firstly, thank you so much, everybody. My name is Gavin McLean. I'm the co-founder of Upschool. Our job, we really have one main job as an organization, and that job is to empower students to be able to make real and meaningful change in the world. And we aim to do that through a series of courses. To give you a very brief history, we started in January we rolled out a pilot course with 10 schools in Australia, and we asked them to build a library somewhere in the subcontinent. The library came with a fee. It was $10,000 to build a library. We asked the children, we don't want you to raise the money in the usual ways, not through a bake sale or not through, asking your community for money, but using the curriculum in a smart way, writing letters to CEOs and executives and making phone calls to politicians and saying, we need your support in this mission, and raising awareness that way, and therefore building a movement within your community. Now, that was term one. In term two, as Shaista said, we rolled out a course called Write a Book to Change the World. I'm a children's author, so we put it out to the whole world, and we asked children, we want you to choose something that matters to you, write a book, and then with that book, when it's completely finished, we want to populate it on a global library and allow people around the world to buy it. But a special thing about that whole project, and we're in week 9 right now, so around the world, we have about 35,000 children writing books, digital books, was that when they upload it to a digital library for the world to read and potentially buy, the children got to choose to say, when someone buys my book, I would like parts of the profits to go to this charity. And we have partnered with many charities, the Jane Goodall Institute, So They Can, Rainforest Rescue, giving students a really nice wide breadth of choice to be able to say, I worked really hard in the curriculum, I produced something which is really beautiful, and I want it to change the world. So when someone engages with my product or they read my book, I want them to be able to help me on my mission of planting more trees, or helping girls go to school in Uganda, or stopping climate change. Now that was term 2, and we're coming to the end of term 2, but I will say this, that the Write a Book to Change the World course is on our platform. You can start whenever you like. It sits in there in the UNAA's campaign booklet. If your school, if you're thinking, goodness me, I would love to do that, you can start tomorrow. It doesn't matter when you begin. We started it in term 2 back in April, but it will continue forever. If that's something that you think is engaging for your community and inspiring, then take that on. But I want to spend this next, 15 minutes talking about our new and upcoming course called Be the Change. Now, as Shaista said, there are 17 sustainability goals for the world set by the United Nations and hopefully achieved by 2030. We have an agenda. The United Nations have said that if we achieve all of these goals by 2030, we potentially can save the planet and make it this beautiful, wonderful, harmonious place that we all want to live on, which is amazing. But here at Upschool, what we want to do is turn the tables upside down on education. I've been a teacher 25 years, and I know, and I'm sure you know too, quite obviously, it's top down in education. The teacher tells the students, this is what you need to know, this is what you need to do, this is the action you want to take. But we want to turn things the other way around. We want to say to the students, hey, what matters to you? And we're going to empower you to make a change by activating your community to think differently and live in a different way. So the students will be empowering the adults. And I'll explain more about how that will work in just a minute. And this builds an array of skills in our students: confidence, resilience, persistence, determination, in line with the curriculum, in line with persuasive writing and conversation and emotive language and all these wonderful things that sit inside the curriculum. So what I want to make clear is we're not doing something left field or way out of the sphere of curriculum outcomes. This sits right within the national curriculum. And what I will say before I start talking you through how it will look is that if you engage with the Be the Change course, you are given a curriculum, a 10-week curriculum in line with the outcomes and indicators, and you can adapt and change that as you wish, but everything is done for you. There's even parent videos, teacher videos, student videos, everything is done, including all of the task cards, worksheets, anything else that you might need along the way. So let me explain what the 10 weeks will look like. So first of all, here we go. So first of all, this is Richard Mills and myself. We're the co-founders. About a year ago, we started having a chat about how to make a platform online that could change the world, and we came up with Upschool. Our team is much bigger than us two now. As you've already seen, we have Jake, and we also have 10 partnerships with beautiful charities, and we have these wonderful associations with people like the UNAA, with Canva. And I just want to make clear, if you make an account on the Upschool platform, every single person gets a free Canva Pro account. Every single child, every single teacher, every single parent. automatically. You just click a button and bingo, you have a Canva Pro account, usually costing $20 per month. So that's an amazing thing just to get us started. So here we are at Upschool, and our main objectives with this 10-week course are connection, creating change, and allowing our students to speak out. I think voice, choice, independence, agency, for anybody there like Shanaz working in a leadership position in school, what do you want for your students? You want them to be independent, you want them to be engaged, and you want them to be motivated. That's what you want. That's the 3 big tickets. And we hope that through this course, you will get those things. So the course overview, starting on the 19th of July, a 10-week course will see students working collaboratively to create change within their local communities. And what I'm trying to say by this is, in a particular class or a school, you might have 7 children in one class who say, you know what, we want to take on climate change. And this group come together. And they come together in a team, they find their way, and then what they do is they start activating change in that group, in that team. But you might have another group in the class who say, you know what, we don't want to work on climate change, actually, we want to work on poverty. We're choosing SDG number 1. And so each group gets to choose an SDG that matters to them. And depending on the demographic, the location, the socioeconomic background of those students, they will all have a different opinion. If you are a girl living in Uganda, what is going to matter to you is gender equality, because you know you'll be married by 13 years of age to a 70-year-old man. So you will probably choose gender equality. If you're living in Bangladesh, the climate change issue is going to be a big problem for you. You probably choose SDG number 13. So we want to make sure that children have choice, they have voice, they have agency, and it's on their terms. They choose what matters to me, and I'm going to do that. Now, as Shaista said, underneath each of those SDGs, and there are 17, there are 10 actions that sit underneath there. At Upschool, what we've done is we've rewritten those actions. Those actions are amazing. But if you're 6 or 7, they seem a bit far-fetched. They seem a bit hard to reach. We've rewritten them so they're tangible for children, so children can attain them. So a 7-year-old can look at those actions and say, you know what, I can actually achieve those. I cannot achieve them myself, but I can get my community to achieve them. I can talk to my dad, I can talk to my mum, I can make a poster, I can get people to change. So to give you a real perfect example of what that might look like, let's say a group of girls in your year 3 class decide we're taking on climate change. One of their actions will be to eat less meat. Now, they don't have a choice. They're not the one who pays the bills or does the shopping or buys the food. That's mum and dad who does that. So they can't really say no, but they could have a poster in the school saying, we're going to have a meat-free Thursday every week. Are you joining? And parents say, why would you do that? The children say, did you know that when we eat meat, it causes this much pollution in the world and X, Y, Z, and we want to just have one day without meat? And the parents say, that's an amazing thing. But the children are driving the change, not the other way around, which is really important. So each group of children in each school in each part of the world will have 10 actions that they will tick off. If they don't tick all 10, that's not a problem. If they make one of those things, that's amazing. It means change is happening and they will feel empowered. So let me now talk you through what the 10 weeks will look like. I'll do this very quickly. I don't want to take too much of your time, and then I'll just show you how to engage. So in week number 1, your students will understand who they are. They will have some reflective purpose, and they will write a very short biography, and they'll find connections between themselves and the people in their class. They'll find things about themselves they didn't know. They might have never talked to another child in the class, but realize they both love cats, or their favorite food is carrots. And suddenly they go, hey, I know we're all different, but actually we're similar at the same time. So week 1 is all about finding who we are and finding out our connection. Week number 2 is where they start to think about what matters to them. And this sets them up to choose an SDG, because when they realize what matters to them, they will then be able to find out which SDG is the one thing that's going to help me get to where I want to be. In week number 3, they choose their SDG. They do some research on the SDGs, they have a look at what they do, and they decide on one that they want to take on. But each and every week we have a real world learning activity where the students, and I'll say this in very loose terms, they get to be an adult. They get to do something that you don't normally see in school. So for example, in week 3, they write a letter. They don't write a letter to their mum, not to their dad, not to the principal, and not to their teacher. And they don't write a letter for a tick, a point, a score, a percentage, or a ranking. They write a letter to somebody who is powerful, someone who can help them on their journey. So they say, hey, I really want to tackle this problem with climate change in my local town. And they do some research and they realize, oh, you know what? The environmental minister is, Mr. Stipplegate. And here's his email address. And here's his postal address. We're going to write a letter to Mr. Stipplegate telling him our concerns about climate change. They write a letter to a real person who then potentially writes back or responds. And at that moment, the students feel, you know what? I might be 10 years old, but I'm extremely powerful. And if I've got a piece of paper and a pen, I can actually achieve anything. We go to week number 4, and week number 4 is where they set their goals. Now, we have designed some goals for them in very childlike language, but they're very nice, but we leave some blanks. We say to the students, here are some goals, but we're leaving a couple of blanks, and we want you to fill in the blanks. Get together with your team and decide on 2 more things that you want to achieve during this 10-week process. In week number 5, the students start to find their voice. So at this point, they actually write an article. They write an article and they send it to a media outlet, a newspaper, a television show, a local radio station, and they ask them to give them a step up in terms of their voice. So they get together and they use their voice to get their message out far and wide, and they write to a real media outlet and potentially find themselves on a radio show or a podcast or on TV talking about what matters. In week number 6, they start to get their message out there. So they research people like Greta Thunberg, Gandhi, and by the way, it's named after Gandhi, Be the Change. So they research these amazing change makers and they find out about how they achieved their goals, what their key messages were, and how they got their message out to the wider community. And at this point, they start to put together their own very core message, and they come up with their very own motto, their very own quote, which is very hard to do. We've made a quote generator for children. So they put their messages in and out pops this wonderful quote. They have their very own quote, which is very hard to get. Quotes are hard to come by. And week number 7 is where kind of the magic starts. And I want to just share how amazing I think this part is. So what they will do in week 7, they will use that quote, that message, and they will design a t-shirt, a product, not a real one, a virtual one. They'll put their logo, they'll put their motto, they'll put a branding on the back, a bit like the one that I have here, which says, I'm a Montessori teacher. I made my own t-shirt. They will make their very own t-shirt too. And they will upload it to our global shop. Now, when they upload it, just before they upload it, it says to them, hey, Ahmed, that's an amazing t-shirt. When someone buys your t-shirt, where do you want part of the profits to go? And Tommy says, you know what? You know what matters to me? Climate change. So I want part of my profits to go to this charity, the Jane Goodall Institute. Or a girl in Uganda says, you know what matters to me? Gender equality. When someone buys my t-shirt, I want part of the profits to go to So They Can, because that's what they deal with. So they give the students that choice. They make the product and they upload it. When it comes to week number 8, they start to put their story together. And I'll tell you why in a second. They use Canva and they start to put a presentation together just like the one that you're looking at right now. And we skill them up in doing exactly this, how to put their story together. They take photos of their team, of their teachers, of the parents, of the No Meat Thursday and the Walk to School Wednesday, and all these wonderful things that they're doing. And they put together a slide deck filled with their story of their success. And week number 9, they then start to interview the parents. They invite the parents into school and they interview them. How do you feel? What do you think's happening? And they start to do this wonderful community engagement and ultimately gather some really good quotes from your community. They then upload those quotes into the slide deck, and in week number 10, they upload the entire slide deck to our system, and we look through every single one of them. So if you imagine 20, 30,000 schools around the world, all making change in their community, driven by the students, telling their story and getting their voice out. At this point, we should be receiving hundreds, if not thousands of presentations. Myself, Shyster, and the team at UNAA and Upschool will then go through all of those slide decks. And we are going to be looking for 17 of the most inspirational stories from around the world. 17 groups of students will then be invited to be a keynote speaker at the World Children's Day Upschool Conference on November the 20th. A conference driven and delivered by children. I guarantee you not an adult is going to speak in that conference. Children will be introducing, children will be presenting. It will be children presenting to children and saying to them, look what we did, we want to know what you did, inspiring everybody else and saying, we are the future and the future's in our hands. And that's happening on November the 20th. We will invite all of you, people who are enrolled in this course, to join on that day. So on that day, we want your schools to put on the big screen at the front and watch the conference and listen and learn and be inspired and be intrigued and look forward to a bright future. Now, what I will say to everyone listening right now, if this sounds interesting to you, if you're thinking, I want to do this, then there is a QR code right on the screen. If you hold your phone up and scan it, it will take you immediately to the Upschool website, and you can then create a free account. You can get your free Canva account, and then you can enroll in this course. 3 things I want to say which are really important. Number 1, each and every week, we will deliver the resources to you. You will get a video for your parents, a video for your teachers, an introductory video for your students, and a closing video. In between that, you'll have keywords, task cards, activities, how to write a letter, how to record a video, how to make a slide deck. Everything is done for you. All you need to do is click and press play, and we are there to guide you. Hopefully your parents will get engaged, your teachers will be inspired, and your students will start to make a wonderful change in the world. And ultimately, when this comes through in November the 20th, we'll see 17 communities come together and present how amazing the change was in their community and the difference it made. Ultimately, we want your students to feel empowered, and I think that alongside the UNAA and Upschool collectively, we can actually see that happen around the world in our students. And what I will say is, I wrote this course. I spent about 1 billion hours writing it, but I wrote it from my heart, and I can guarantee you every single part of it I think is brilliant, beautiful, and I think it will change your community and the way your students feel. It's wonderful. One question you might have, what I will answer right now, is can younger students engage with this course? How do our 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds do this? What you will see when you go onto the website is every single lesson is geared for students 8 and above. So students who are 8 and older. But I have built within each and every learning sequence, every lesson, a small mentorship, leadership lesson plan. And the lesson plan is designed for children. So, for example, you have a 10-year-old who's come on the course, and he's on week 5, and he's had a wonderful learning. He's amazing. He downloads the lesson plan. He says, hey, Tommy, you're the 10-year-old. Download your lesson plan. You need to get these resources together. You need to go down to kindergarten, and you need to teach these things to a younger child. And you set up your older child with a buddy in a younger class. And throughout the entire 10 weeks, the old child goes down to the younger class and reteaches it. Einstein said, to learn something is great, but to teach it is to learn it twice. And that's what we want to do. So we will build this wonderful cohesion within your school community, collaboration, leadership, mentorship, all of these wonderful empowerments that we want to see within our school. And I'll show you very quick our last slide. This is our team. We have a wonderful team. There's even more people working for us, but I'm Gavin McCormack. Richard Muzz is the co-founder, also a teacher. Jake is also a teacher too. He's our general manager. And then we have an array of people underneath working with us to do various things, social media, design, video editing, and all these wonderful things. We want you to be involved. The more the merrier. And I know I've been talking a lot and very quickly. I'm conscious that everyone's busy, but I will finish by saying this. If you like what you have just seen from the UNAA or from what I've just said today, please put it on your socials, tell your friends, tell other principals, tell your parents, tell everybody you know, because this is ultimately 100% free and there is no catch. There's not going to be a time when you have to pay for anything. It's completely free forever. So we hope you join us on July the 19th. We are so thrilled that you're even here in this meeting. And thank you so much. I'll hand over to maybe Jake, who I think is going to take some questions now.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin, and thanks, Shai. So terrific presentation to you both. Look, I just wanted to open up the floor to anyone that might have any questions at all around the content they've heard. You're welcome to ask Shai some questions about the UNAA New South Wales materials, or you're welcome to speak to Gavin, of course, about any of the Upschool materials or how to register or any questions at all. So we'll start with you, Miga. Just unmute yourself and please ask your question.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I think I'm quite excited about this project. We did a little bit, last year with grade 9, but now I think this can be executed in lower grades as well. So my question is, can students do this project in groups, or they have to do it individually?
I'll take that one, if you don't mind. Yes, of
Yep.
course, they can work in groups. They can also work individually. It's not a problem. What I dream in my head, and I'm sure this will work out in your classes, is that when you get to week 3 and you say, what matters to you, what you will have is small groups branching off to say, hey, there's 4 of us over here, and what matters to us is climate change. And 5 over there to say, hey, what matters to us is life on land, life on water. And so groups will form in your room, but you might have one boy who says, I'm the only person dealing with poverty. And that's completely fine, completely fine. I mean, you might want to say, well, would you like to go next door to the other class if you're doing a whole school thing and see if there's anybody in the other class also doing poverty and make a group. But also, that child might really want to work on their own. Some of us just love to work independently, and that's completely fine. I think the more children, the more people involved, the better results you will have.
Um, a follow-up question. So on what basis will they be selected as speakers? How do they qualify for that if they're working in group? Uh, how you just said that you will select around 20 or speakers or 17 speakers, at the end. So if they're working in groups, how do we, they'll come up with a common product and everything. So how will they be selected? What would be the criteria then?
Yeah, so look, inside the learning sequence, it's all built in. Inside there, I give them a series of 10 questions that I want them to answer in their presentation, and then we will invite the whole group. So it won't be the school that comes, it will be that particular group to say, this group have produced this slide deck and this presentation. You are welcome to be a presenter, a speaker at our conference. So it will be group based.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Meega. And we'll move across to Gabrielle, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Well done, Gavin. Great what you're doing, so thank you for doing that. I've registered. I'm just wondering when that registration will become live. So that was a little while ago. And secondly, I see that it's aligned with New South Wales. Is there any opportunity to align with Victorian curriculum as well?
Okay, so I don't know where that comes from, Shyster, but I'll talk from my side of things. So yes, I've actually aligned it with ACARA. So I've done the national curriculum. If you look at the curriculum, it's actually aligned with the ACARA outcomes. And so what you will get is a weekly lesson plan and also a 10-week complete program. There's also a scope and sequence aligned with ACARA, but that's an open source document. So you can download it, and if you want to flick it to one of your, ultimately, I wish I had the time to put every single, district's outcomes in there from the entire world, but it's literally impossible. So I just chose the national outcomes. So you're more than welcome to download that, and that will, obviously, you can manipulate that as you wish, of course. And the second question was, when will it come? You've registered, yes. So obviously, the course is coming out on July the 19th. Over the next few weeks, you will start to get some more regular comms around, building up to the launch of that. And about a week before the course begins, the first learning sequence will be up, and you'll get that notification, probably in the school holidays, so you can have a good look at it. And each and every week prior to that, you'll get it a week before it's about to start, so your teachers and everyone can have a good look at the content and know how to deliver it.
Yeah, may I just add, the course, of course, is going to start in July, but as a lead up to the course, I would really encourage everyone to also sign up for the United Nations school program, because that will actually give you a sort of a background for all the SDGs. The resources that we are talking about are, you will be able to sort of get those resources once you, so there will be 2 registrations, one for the Be the Change program and one for this school program. With this school program, it's really quite open. So the Be the Change program, the culmination is in a conference. While with the school program, what we ask is the teachers and schools to just pick any activity. They could even do just a Mufti Day, Blue Mufti Day in schools, do some fundraising, make it as a part of their lesson plan, or they can have a presentation in the assembly. Any idea that is linked to the SDG, send us some proof of that pictures, videos, testimonials, and we will then be giving the school a 1-year free membership to the United Nations Association, and you'll be invited to special events. Besides that, we also have a UN diploma course, which is excellent for teachers. And so the teachers can, or the school can also nominate staff members for the UN diploma scholarship. So there are other incentives. So the UN Day school program is more, much wider. Well, I would say that if you want a really deep dive into the SDGs, go for the Be the Change program. In the UN Day School program, you'll find several other activities. There's one Global Change Makers program in which we are encouraging high school students to work with primary school students. And they use learning design principles towards the SDG challenge. So there are lots of resources there, many ideas. So it's really up to the schools, the educators, what appeals to you. You can get resources as soon as you sort of register, and then pick and choose, adapt as you like. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Shaista. And
Most
just
welcome.
as well, to make it clear, it's a course that's available to anyone around the world.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a course that's people that are in New South Wales or people that are in Victoria. It could be anyone, anywhere around the world. And of course, we've got lots of attendees from lots of different countries, and all of you are welcome to participate in this course. So thank you. Are there any further questions from attendees at all? Please feel free to raise your hand.
Seems there's one more.
Gabrielle, did we answer your question, Gabrielle? Was that fine?
And you're on mute, Gabrielle.
Got it. Yeah, got it. Yeah, I just remember. We're doing the writing for change. We're just completing that. I'm just figuring out how to bump one into the other. But I do remember there were some certificates and things that were only available to New South Wales. It might have been through that. I couldn't quite remember.
No. Yeah, not through us. Unfortunately, we have.
It was somewhere in your stuff, but I can't remember where it was right now. So
Okay.
Yeah, it may have been the collaboration with the UNAA New South Wales, which is who Shaista represents. So it may have just talked about the collab rather than anything being certified in, or so it's just the we would have referenced the relationship. So yeah, thank you. Thanks, Gabrielle. So we'll go to Mona next. Thank you, Mona. Please unmute yourself. No? Okay, Mona. I'll move to Shanaz now. Shanaz, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask a question, and we can return to you, Mona, a bit later.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to ask if these recorded sessions can be sent to us if we miss the meetings. So because of the time difference or probably because of work, maybe we may not attend all the meetings, but will the sessions be shared on to us if we miss the meetings?
Yes, Shanaz, thank you for your question. And so, yes, we're currently recording this meeting, and it'll appear on our website. So what Gavin will do is, once the meeting's concluded and we've got the resources ready, he'll just email the attendees and say, thank you for your participation. The recording can be found in this link, and you just access it through Upschool.
Okay, thank you so much.
Most welcome. Thanks for your participation. We'll go to the next, just checking back with Mona. Mona, do you want to ask a question now? Okay, we'll go to Roji. Roji, would you mind placing your mic available and you can ask your question?
Hi, everyone. Actually, I am not from any school. I'm a parent. And is it can an individual student can participate in the conference?
Of course. Of course. I mean, there's no question about it. That would be, monumental. If there was one student working from home with mom and managed to get, that would be understandably something very, very inspiring. So,
and the diploma scholarship. What about the UN diploma scholarship?
That is really for New South Wales schools only.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Thank you very much.
we are still working on the online version. So it's once that is there, then I'm sure we'll be able to offer it internationally as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for your question, Roji. Osman, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Okay, that should do the trick. Look, fabulous, Gavin. That was sensational, and to all the other speakers and presenters as well. I've had only a quick look through the website, but really keen to pursue. My question is, do you have promotional material on your website that we could print at our school and put up in classrooms and put up around the school and perhaps put on some of our school's digital platforms so that we can share more information with mums, dads, and of course the students themselves?
Can I answer that? With the UN resource pack, there are some materials. The United Nations has a lot of materials on the SDGs, and which are posters and different kinds of other things that you can use and print up. But we also have some for the UN Day posters. I'm sure Gavin has. I know Gavin is smiling, so Gavin, you've got something as well.
Yeah.
For the Be the Change, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, we are, of course, for the UNAA, there's the entire booklet that you can access, which has got everything inside. And for the Be the Change, we have an entire website, a web page designed exactly for that reason, with videos, promotional, everything. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, Osman, the whole Be the Change thing, we're trying to curb the whole printing and things. We want it to be digital. So we've made all of our promotional videos shareable. You pop on the website, you can grab any of those videos, click share, and then stick it in an email and flick it to your entire community. And I recorded those videos myself. I was pretty happy with them. I hope that they get the message across. But also, Osman, dear friend of mine over at Akana College, I respect you dearly. And just even seeing you're in this meeting and thinking about bringing your whole school on, I mean, that would be mind-blowing for me, especially with the UNAA and Upschool doing this thing and seeing your community change like that. And I know you've just taken on the role of principal over there, and I'm very proud of you, and you're one of my dear friends. So let's do this. I mean, you've got hundreds of kids in your school. It'd be unbelievable, Osman.
I'm looking forward to it. Certainly going to get behind it, and really looking forward to the 19th of July and what happens after that there. And safe travels.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much for your response, Osman. And just for that, explain to everyone, Gavin and Richard are leaving to go to the Arctic from tomorrow. So they're going to be heading up to the northern part of the world to be filming content for our following unit in term 4, which is going to be really exciting. So that's, yeah, looking forward to that. We'll move across to Sonia now. Sonia, would you like to ask your question? Just unmute yourself.
A very good afternoon. I'm visible and audible to everyone. Hi, a very good afternoon from Delhi, Gurgaon, India. So lovely to see a good panel here. Gavin, you always do awesome work. Trust me. I share it with all the WhatsApp groups that I am on, Pan India. Keep sharing. Though I am not associated with any one school right now, always there for the education community, for this fraternity. We are doing some work, some contribution to make it a better place. I want to bring in something different here. Before I forget, Shaisa, it was pleasure to connect with you and hear a different perspective, but a common goal. So that's always welcoming. And I would like to offer my services. Been in this industry for 25 years now, heading different roles, vice principal, principal, um, basically a maths person. But if any which way, if you feel Upschool, please use me. I would love to promote it on LinkedIn. Not that you need any, but that little value if I can add, I'll feel good because the cause gives me a big time kick. I like it. It's wonderful.
Wow.
Okay, you've got a job. Give that lady a job.
Thank you, Sonia. That's just a delightful thing to say and to offer. So thank you. We'll follow it up with you later on.
We'll be in
Thanks
touch.
so much.
I would say make yourself an account on the Upschool platform, and then you can get in touch with us directly once you've done that.
We are already connected on LinkedIn, Gavin. We are together. You did take up my post on the SDG.
Is this Sonia McPherson? Are you Sonia McPherson?
Yes, it is Sonia McPherson. Oh, yes. Sonia with the 2 A's.
Sorry, I couldn't see your surname.
Yeah. Thank
okay.
you.
No
Thank you for giving me 2 minutes. Obliged. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. So is there any other questions at all from any other participant? Please raise your hand. Okay, it looks like we've got no further questions. Of course, you're always welcome to reach out to us separately, and you know, we'll be able to get in touch with you in any way. I'm sure Shyster will be able to share some contact information, and of course, Gavin and Upschool will share our contact information too. So this is being recorded. We'll add it to the video, and perhaps when you access the video, we'll have our contact details at the end of the video. So I'll pass it over to Gavin to wrap it up. But thanks very much for everyone's participation.
Thank you, Jake. Can I just say a big thank you to Shyster for you know, initiating this meeting. It was Shyster's idea actually to have this outreach to the world community, so I appreciate that. I also appreciate you, you know, giving us the time. I cold called you and said, hey, let's be friends and do something cool together, and you said, okay, let's do it. And so here we are, which is fantastic. So I want to say thank you to you. Thank you to everyone for coming. Magar, I know your school really well. You've got thousands of kids at your school, and I really want to see them on board with us. I think it's going to be fantastic. And, you know, all these schools around the world, we've got Osman Karolia, Gabriella Hogg, all those people, you know, we're one community now. You know, we can do things together when we work together and when we've got the right intentions, and I think we all have the right intentions. So it's an open door policy from me, and I'm sure from Shyster, if you need us, you ping us and we'll be there 100%. So I look forward to July the 19th. I look forward to UNAA. I look forward to the 20th of November. I look forward to United Nations Children's Day. I look forward to all these things.
Thank you so much.
Everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everybody. I will
Thank
send you this. I'll send you this recording in an email straight after the meeting.
Great.
Thanks so much, Gavin. Thank you.
See you later, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
Gavin.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
It's Richard Mills from Upschool here. Create a free account at upschool.co, and we can't wait to see you on our platform.